So I've opened up my clinic and scaled it over the last 5 years. And over the last 2 years, I've since opened up two more companies in the healthcare space. And I've been able to do that despite the challenging economic times that we're in. We all understand that in healthcare, we have declining reimbursements, rising costs and inflation, the recruiting challenges. And one of the main drivers of a little bit of that success has been the way that I prioritize my time, specifically the routines that I have and the principles that I use to identify my priorities and align my energy and efforts towards the things that matter most in my businesses. And so in today's video, what I want to share with you is the three biggest tips that I can give you to get more time on your calendar so that you can spend it on the biggest needle movers in your business. Because at the end of the day, if you can spend your time and energy on those big needle movers, you're going to get better, you're going to execute better, and you're going to move your life and business forward. So stick around. I'm going to give you all three. These are the same three that I share with my leadership team. Hope it brings you tremendous value. Let's dive in. Hey, what's up, everyone? Hey, would you mind? Can you hear me? Is my audio working? Drop me a comment below and let me know if that audio is working. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. All right. Welcome. Today, we are going to fix this. There we go. Beverage of choice, latte. Topic of choice, time. One of the most valuable asset we have. The most valuable asset we have. It's like, guys, like I can't explain how important this topic is. It's one of my favorite topics. It's probably my favorite topic because this is how you lock in. This is how you lock in and get things done. All right. And if you want to lock in and get things done, you must master your time and your attention. That's how you lock in. All right. And the precursor to growing your business is ensuring that you have enough space on your calendar to actually grow the thing. In order to have the space on your calendar, you must have time. So this is how you create time. Because once you have time, once you become the master of creating time, which is the greatest skill that you can create, it's the greatest skill ever. Once you understand how to create time on your calendar, that is when you will be able to make the money and build the team. Write that down. Once you are able to master how to create time on your calendar, then you will be able to make the money and build your team. But not until then. If you can't master your time, if you can't master your calendar, you're never going to make the money or build the team. All right. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show. My name's Adam. I'm a physical therapist turned entrepreneur. I own a few companies. I'm a private practice owner. And I started my first clinic in 2019 with the strategy of work hard and save my money. That was my strategy. And it worked for about 2 years until I figured out that hard work wasn't going to cut it because I became quickly consumed by the business because the operational and administrative complexities of the business consumed my business, consumed my life, completely took over my calendar, flipped all my priorities upside down, and I was not a happy dude. And it wasn't until I eventually decided to reach out and get some help that things started to change. And I slowly started to learn new skills, develop new habits, and commit to a new way of solving problems in my business. And that's when my business started to finally move forward. And things are a lot better now. Now I have three primary companies that I manage. I have my clinics that a leadership team runs for me, and they're incredible. They're awesome. Man, they're awesome. And I have an online coaching company where we help practice owners like you win the game of private practice. And then we have we have a virtual assistant agency where we place highly trained, skilled Filipino virtual assistants to free you up, to take the bullshit off your calendar so you can focus on the good stuff. Okay. Okay. Let's dive in. You have to master this skill. Here's the challenge. There is only two reasons that I can think of on this meeting right now why you don't have enough time. There are only two reasons why you don't have time on your calendar. It's because either A, you don't have a system of protecting your time and designing your calendar, or B, you're being emotional about the decisions that you're making instead of objective. That's the only reason. So you either have a system or you're not, you either don't have a system or you're not following it. And James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And one of the famous line in that book, and I don't remember, this isn't word for word, you will not rise to the level of your goals, but you will fall to the level of your systems. There is a system and there is a way to prioritize your time and priorities. And if you are not disciplined about executing that and making that the most important thing that you can do, then you're going to, everyone else's priorities and the distractions of the world are going to occupy your attention and you're going to get distracted and you're going to have a hard time moving your business forward. Okay. So today we're going to help you figure out what that system could look like for you. What's up, Scott? This is a cool topic. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we actually did a training with our team, with our leadership team in our clinics about a month ago. And it was on this topic. It was on time management. And we could spend an hour on this topic. We could spend 5 days on this topic. But what we did was, usually when I'm having training like that with my team, I like to come away with the top two or three nuggets. And what we walked away with during the training were 3 of the most important habits and decisions and routines that make the biggest impact on your ability to stay focused and prioritize the things that matter most. Hey, Sarah, what's up? Thanks for being here. All right. So I'm going to talk about the Covey quadrant. The Covey quadrant. For those, many of you probably heard what that is, know what that is, but some of you might not. Some people call it the Covey quadrant. Some people call it the Eisenhower matrix. If you're watching live, I'm going to drop it in the comments right now. But there are the Covey quadrant. This came from Stephen Covey, who's the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he talks about a quadrant. So if you can imagine, a quadrant is basically made of a plus sign. There are 4 quadrants. There's a vertical axis and a horizontal axis. The vertical axis, if you're starting at the bottom, goes from non-important, and as you travel up that axis, it goes to important. So tasks that you're performing that are not important are going to be lower in the quadrant. Tasks that you are performing that are more important are going to be higher in the quadrant. Okay? It's helpful if you guys can pull this up. Just go to Google and type in Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants or a Covey quadrant, and you can follow along. All right, so the horizontal axis is going to go from urgent to non-urgent. Okay, so things on the left side of the quadrant are going to be more urgent tasks. All right, and as you travel along the right side of the quadrant, you're going to enter into the not urgent category. All right, so quadrant 1 is the upper left quadrant. I'm kind of cheating over here. Urgent and important tasks, things that are very important, meaning they're critical to the success of the company and probably only you can do them or very few people can do them. And they have a rigid time constraint, a more immediate time constraint on them. Okay. Quadrant number 2 is going to be at the upper right, not urgent, but important. These are going to be things that are extremely important, but don't have rigid deadlines on them. Meaning these are going to be usually things like planning, designing, working on the vision, building out those policies and procedures, right? Nobody's going to sit around and tell you like there's a deadline to those things, but we know that they're extremely important. Quadrant number 3 is going to be the lower left. So these are going to be the urgent but not important tasks. You should never be spending time on those. These are going to be things like TikTok, Facebook, things that don't move your life forward. Bad habits, okay? And then lower right are going to be the not urgent and not important, all right? These are going to be like things you shouldn't be doing. So what we want to do is we want to prioritize the upper half of the quadrant. All right. So we want to spend a ton of time, as much time as we possibly can, in the important but non-urgent category. This is going to be quadrant number 2. These are going to be the things that only you can do usually, like planning, creating, designing, working on the business instead of in the business. We want to spend as much time as we can there, right? All of the other remaining time that we have, we'll spend quadrant 1, which is going to be your urgent and important category. But the goal of that quadrant is to find ways to delegate those things effectively. So we don't spend our time in urgent mode often, but a lot of times those are going to be highly important skills that need to be delegated effectively. Think clinic director roles, executive roles, lead front desk roles, right? These are going to be things that are really important and critical that require careful delegation, right? But what happens is, this is what happens. We set out to do those things and we end up spending our time either urgent and important category all the time, 100% of the time, and we never get to the planning side. Or if we're if we have some bad habits, we spend our time on the lower half of the quadrant, whereas the not important, that's the not important zone. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up or something if that makes sense. And then give me a thumb down or ask me a question if that doesn't make sense. So how do we do that? That's the whole point of this. Now that you understand what the quadrant is, like how do we do that? How do we get to the upper half of the quadrant? And how do we stay there? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's what this freaking whole episode's about. And I got about 15 minutes and I'm going to share it with you. And it's not as hard as you think. This is how you do it. And these are in order of importance, by the way. All right. So what's up, Ben? Man, we got the whole squad here today. Here's the principle. Number one, I want you to think you've got two hands here. Okay. In order to, it's like a lot of times we want to go to this next thing, meaning we want to get to quadrant number two, right? We want to get to that important but not urgent category. We want to work on the business. We're having a hard time getting there because we're still holding on to other things. We're holding on to the non-important, or we're holding on to the urgent activity. And what I'm begging you to understand, and I'm talking to my younger self, and this is the same message I have for my clients every time I have a coaching call. But what you need to understand, I'd consider myself almost an expert in this at this point. What you need to understand is you're never going to get there if you continue to hold on. Hey, real quick, stop what you're doing. If you like this video or any video that I have put out, I invite you to join our Facebook group. It's free. We do free live trainings every week. We give away a ton of free resources in there, and you can stay up to date on all of our events, our conferences, our in-persons. And we'd love to have you in there. So go to the Facebook group and look for the Private Practice Owners Club. Click apply, fill out the little bit of questionnaire, and we'll see you inside the group. So growing your business is a lot less about doing new things, and it's way more about learning how to let go of the stuff that is no longer serving you. Write that down. I want to pound that in your head. Growing your business is a game of subtraction. It's a game of removing things from your calendar that no longer serve you. And here's the cool part. Whenever you actually create the space and the bandwidth that you need, a lot of you guys are like super smart and creative. Like you're going to figure out what to do really quickly, but you can never tap into that because you're so occupied doing bullshit. I'm from the South. I cuss a little bit. Hope you guys don't mind. You're occupied doing bullshit. You think you're good at delegation, but you're not, right? The first step is elimination. The first step is removal. And what we want to do is, number one, eliminate the non-urgent, non-important stuff off of your calendar. That is number one. So I had a mentor of mine tell me one time, don't tell me what your goals are. Tell me what you're willing to sacrifice to get there. Don't tell me what your goals are. Tell me what you're willing to sacrifice to get there. That means you're going to have to remove things from your life in order to go to the new place. That's the first step. Okay. And we typically spend a ridiculous amount of time on the non-important, non-urgent things like scrolling on social media. I make money on social media, so you can watch me. No, I'm just joking. I'd rather you build your business. But scrolling on social media, drinking, partying, gossiping with people, small talk, chit chat, bad habits and vices. Bad habits and vices. Like, step one, get that stuff out of your life. And what you'll find is that you will create a lot more space in your bandwidth and on your calendar to step into more things. Okay, so the first step is to eliminate the non-urgent, non-important stuff off of your plate. All right. That's going to be quadrant number 3. No, I'm sorry. That's going to be quadrant number 4. Busy work, personal social media, some phone calls, time wasters, pleasant activities, some emails, spam emails, right? We got to get those things off your plate. Don't do that stuff anymore. If you do that, you would basically completely eliminate half of the lower part of this quadrant. You eliminate half of it, half of the lower part. So you're much more likely to spend time in the upper half of the quadrant, okay? Number 2, here's the second thing. Schedule your non-urgent but important activity. Stephen Covey says, it's not about prioritizing your schedule. It's about scheduling your priorities. I'm gonna write that down and say it one more time. It's not about prioritizing your schedule. It's about scheduling your priorities, meaning you must be the designer of your time. Be the designer of your week, all right? So the best use of your time, if you only have one great habit to take away from this, it's going to be either on Sunday evening or first thing Monday morning. My recommendation is to block off an hour, and that hour is going to be uninterrupted. Your emails are off, your phone is off. You're in a quiet, safe place, you're relaxed. And your only job during that hour is to identify what your top 3 priorities are for the week. That's your only job. So if I come to you Monday after work, after lunch, and I say, "Hey, Ben, what's your priorities this week?" And you're like, "I don't know." Not a good look. You know what I mean? Or if I go to my one of my clinics and I go to the clinic director and I say, "Hey, what's the big priorities this week?" And they don't know, that's a problem. Because if you're not clear on the priorities, nobody in the company is going to be clear. Nobody will. Clarity is your responsibility. It literally is your job description. Your KPI is the vision and how clear everybody on the team is on that vision. That's literally your job. And you're the only person in the company that can do that. So identifying the top priorities every week is the work of the CEO. And if you're not doing that every single week, and if you haven't prioritized that on your calendar, then you're missing out. You're never going to get there because we all know what happens. We say, "Oh, I'll just treat a patient," right? Or somebody, "Well, I was going to do that, but somebody called in sick, so I had to treat their patients." Not a good idea. You know what I mean? Or whatever, any other excuse, right? There literally is no excuse. I can't think of anyone. Like it's the most important time on the calendar. Okay. So schedule your non-urgent, non-important activity, make it your responsibility, and be disciplined about identifying your top 3 priorities every week. Okay. That will ensure that you have dedicated time every week to spend time in the upper right quadrant, which is going to be your non-urgent but important. So you're going to have more planning time. You're going to have more thinking time. You're going to have more vision time. You can also spend time working on the priorities. Okay. Number 3, okay, we still have to get rid of that quadrant number 3, which is that not important but urgent activity. Some of the things that are in that quadrant are going to be interruptions, emails, things like that. Questions from your team. "Hey, Ben, what do I do about this? Hey, boss, how do I handle this?" Right? Here's number 3. You ready? Super simple. Stop answering questions. Stop answering questions. Let your team figure it out. Ask them the questions. They should be the one answering questions. The biggest mistake that you can make is hiring people and tell them what to do. The biggest mistake that you can make is hire people and tell them what to do. You hire them so they can tell you what to do, right? Because you hired them because they're smart and they're talented and they're skilled and they're going to help you. So if you are answering all their questions and solving all their problems, then why are they even there? And I know it sounds weird because I think we're wired to just help people, but by answering their questions all the time, you're not helping them, you're enabling them and you're not empowering them. So if you want your people to grow and actually learn how to solve problems, you're going to have to give them some space to sit with the problem, absorb the weight of the problem, and actually try to solve the problem. And the best way to do that is to stop answering the question and ask them, like, "I don't know, what do you think you should do?" Okay. So let's role play. I'm an employee. I'm walking up to Glinda. "Hey, Glinda, the ABA therapist just said XYZ, and I don't really know what to do. Where do you think we should go from here?" "That's a good question, Adam. I don't know. What do you think you should do?" "I don't really know. But if you did know, if you really thought about it, what would you do?" "I guess I would do XYZ." "Okay, sounds great. Try that. Is there any help you need from me?" "Nope. I think I have it." That's it. All right. If you stop and then now you have trained that person that you are no longer going to save them and that they're going to actually have to sit with the question, sit with the problem, and be a leader and an owner of their space. And when you train people that way, you're not manipulating them, you're helping them grow, which is also part of your job. But when you do that, the questions will become fewer and fewer, and they will be more proactive and they will solve more problems without you. And you will start to eliminate quadrant number 3, which is the not important but urgent activity. Okay. And if you do that, you will have all of your time will be spent on either not urgent but important activity because you have scheduled it, you have designed your calendar, and the rest of your time will be spent on either completing the important and urgent activity or delegating the important and urgent activity, building out roles and responsibilities to empower your team to do those things. And that's how your company grows. All right. So if you do this well, you will stay in your desire zone way more often, and you will prioritize clarity around your vision and building the company. You will lower your stress massively, and the overall stress of your team will be lowered as well. And you'll have much more clarity across the organization, and you'll build a team of people who can do it. So, time management, guys, is a leadership skill. It is a personal leadership skill. And the things that for me, when I ask myself, how do I lock in? How do I lock in? It literally is, if you think about it, lock in is you look within, you look at yourself. You have to get better, and you have to stop prioritizing your time based on all of these external attention grabbers and shiny objects and distractions. And you have to start asking yourself, how do I just maintain control of my emotions and my energy and my direction every single day? Because growing your business at this stage, no amount of more hard work is going to move your business forward. There is no more hard work to be done. So there's no amount of hard work that's going to move your business forward. It will be the quality of your decisions, and it'll be the quality of how you prioritize your time and energy. That is the thing that will move your business forward. All right. So what is it going to take from you? Number one, it's going to take discipline. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take discipline to eliminate the non-urgent, non-important activity. Discipline. You know you shouldn't be scrolling on social media all the time. Don't do it, right? It's going to take discipline to schedule your non-urgent but important activity on your calendar. And it's going to take commitment to commit to it. Commitment. And it's going to take courage to say no to anything that tries to encroach onto that time. It's going to be patience and team members and spouses and kids and all the things. And the answer is no. So it's going to take courage, commitment, and discipline to do that. All right. And then it's going to take leadership and courage to stop answering your team's questions. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them confront their own challenges and struggle a little. You don't need to drown them, but they need to be stretched because they're capable. And that's it. If you guys can master that game, you guys will have way more time on your calendar. All right. So those are the top 3 ways that you can manage your time. And that's the same training that I gave my team. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Drop below if you have any questions. I'm happy to go back and forth in the comments. Hope it brings you tons of value. The world needs you to win. And you win when you have time on your calendar to actually be creative and move your life forward. Good luck. Have a great day. So that's it. If you enjoyed today's video, I'm going to ask you to do one primary thing. Click the link below and subscribe. If you watch this video to the end, then you're a fan. And what that will do is help this video reach more people who could benefit from more content like this. In addition, if you're interested in some free stuff, check out the show notes below. We've got a free dashboard. We've got a free owner's manual. We've got a bunch of free things in there. They're yours. The only thing that's going to cost you is your name and your phone number. But if you're looking to grow your practice, if you're looking to open more businesses and make a bigger impact in your life, I think some of those things are going to be really valuable for you. And I'll see you on the next one.